Incoming transmission.
Alien Romulus. This review will not have spoilers. I kept waiting for Romulans.
Oh, yeah. That should be obvious. They're in the title.
They're not in the movie. There's a decent discussion to be had about whether or not this movie's woke. In my opinion, because of it being alien, it is altogether like fine that it has a female protagonist. That's the tradition. The money in this movie, do we see it on screen? Their alien sets look great. Ship looks great.
Nice.
The ships they go to, or the station they go to, looks great. The planet looks great. The planet's ring looks great. The planet's ring plays into the plot. We have an opening sequence that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
We have such a stupid opening sequence. It is the first 5 minutes of this movie are so stupid, and the last 20 minutes of this movie, less, because the movie's not that long. The movie has a decency to be like an hour and 55 minutes. It felt longer the second time. This movie was 119 minutes worth of friendliness, and it didn't hate me, so that's a good thing. This movie didn't have a whole shitload to say about the woke, but it did play by some woke rules as far as like we have now sort of shaken up the post-woke world rules of who survives a horror movie in the style of Friday the 13th. And really, this is kind of like the story is only about as good as a video game. It's not on the level of a good video game.
Super Metroid for the SNES hits the H.R. Giger ambiance and atmospheric dread of the Metroid series flawlessly.
No, this is sort of like somebody sci-fi'd up Five Nights at Freddy's or something.
Okay.
I had a few issues with the movie, but I'll get into them a little later. Staying on the non-spoiler stuff, there was two sequences that I just really fucking wondered about, and I'll tell you about them in a little while. And I liked that it starts and ends with the silence of deep space.
All right.
Showing that, like, we're an invasive species in space, so to speak. The physical sets, it was worth it. They were well crafted.
The budget counted towards visual impact. Nice.
Right. On the downside, this is what they didn't have. Very good cast.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like, here's my bullet points. This movie knows it's alien, at least. It knows it's an alien movie. It wants you to like it. It's not hostile towards you. It doesn't really have a lot of a message. A whole movie is missing between the beginning of the movie, cold open, and when our movie starts. There's a chunk of time that's unaccounted for. We find somebody who says stuff happens. We don't know. We hear about it in the various ways. Listen, here's stuff we know in the trailer. We see the wreckage of the Nostromo, and I'll say, when Hollywood sends us nuclear explosions, it doesn't send its best anymore. Like, my God. Who would know that the alien can develop a carapace around itself so that it can be saved in space? It self-generated a rock.
Damn. Out of where?
The one that was, like, stuck out in space when Ripley ejects from the Nostromo.
From what mass?
Who knows? It biosecretes something, or I have no fucking clue. We see what seems to be a droid-controlled ship fly in and grab a meteor. And guys, this is like the first 2 minutes. So like I'm staying, like, this is now very, very light spoiler. Very light spoiler. You'll know this in moments. The crawl on the screen in the trailers tells you that. The opening 5 minutes of this movie looks good visually, but it's the information that they transmit to you tells you that this is a very specific kind of movie. Thank you, Mauler, for this information. This is a very specific kind of prequel. It's called an interquel.
An interquel would be a movie that bridges the gaps between two other movies. So it's a prequel to one, but a sequel to the other. But it's made after both of the first two.
It's a sequel to all, and the interquel is, in Star Wars, would be Rogue One, I guess.
Yeah, Rogue One's an interquel by that logic, yeah.
So someone set out to make an interquel, like, thinking that they could do this. And what they do is, we go to the wreckage of the Nostromo, which has 2 nuclear explosions that the alien is caught in. And
I see Radioactive saying in chat that there were 3.
Is it 3 nuclear explosions? We blow this thing, yeah!
even one's a lot.
Nuclear explode. When they send us nuclear explosions, they're not sending us their best anymore. 3 nuclear explosions on the Nostromo would have left no pieces there. And a lot of people have pointed out that the explosion didn't even have the power to blow the pieces far away from each other. They're just sitting there, one clumped up bunch of the debris field is real small.
Just turn the gravity plating up super high, and the ship will crush itself to death.
We play some games to gravity plating in this movie, if that makes you feel better, and that is actually a plus in the movie. We do play some games with gravity. The thing is, where this movie triumphs is where it's being a video game. The story itself is a little bit sketch, and after we recover this alien in deep space, and I'm still really don't consider myself in spoiler territory here. We see a planet, and it says like whatever it's called, industrial mining planet, days of sunlight 0, which is a conspicuously weird thing to see on screen. I guess the deal is that this is an industrial Wigan Yujitami factory world, and so that it's just got a permanent shroud of like commercial produced gas and clouds of industrial smoke. They're gonna like throw this planet away when they're done. The movie doesn't really kick into gear until minute 41. If the movie's 110 minutes, at 55 minutes, like we reach the peak of action and stay there for a while. Nice. We climb down off of it and climb back down up to the peak in good fashion. Where this movie does action, it's pretty good. Where this movie does spectacle, it's pretty good. Where this movie does making us feel like we're doing and watching, the kind of movie that we're supposed to be watching, it like I said, it knows it's alien. It doesn't have anything against you, and it's not going to give you a hard time. Which best describes how you feel about the Alien franchise. And we have 18 votes. Big fans, 50%. Casual fans, 44%. Somewhat dislike, 0%. So no one dislikes them at all, even. And actively avoiding movies, 5%. There's someone out there who hates them. If you're going to the movies, you could do a lot worse. As far as like, if you want a theater experience, if you want to go to a movie theater and eat popcorn, if you're looking for a movie to go on a date, yeah, this movie's fine. It'll fill that role. If you're looking for a movie that makes sense, here we go, guys. I'll give you this rating and then it's spoilers. This movie is at popcorn cruncher at best. Roland Emmerich intellect level is higher. Here we go. This is the back of your baseball card. Story is an F. I'm sorry. The story is an F. Watchability, I said a C, but then I watched it again, and after I got past the part that sucked, I got to the part that was good again, and all the money they put into this effect that they had to pay off their ticking clock, it was good. So I had to change. I raised it to watchability as a B- or C+, but like this is contingent on. I'll say it right now. It was kind of rough. Is it worth seeing in movie theaters? It's push. If you're going to the movies, you're probably not going to do better right now. The best thing, it looks and feels like Alien. My biggest issue, this interquel does not fill in any information except there are events that happened. It raises more questions than it answers, PDB.
Does it now?
This movie, and I'm now going to grab my notebook, and we're going to talk about what's wrong with this movie.
Go for it.
I have a few issues with this story. I like a lot of the visuals. I like a lot of the video game-like shit we do. I hate what we go through to get there, PDB. The cost might be too high for some. The quality level of this movie is Alien vs. Predator 1.
Damn.
We have one character who's unintelligible. He can't be understood.
Why?
The movie his Cockney accent is so thick and he talks so fast. And it's like, she's gonna die now.
Huh.
I didn't know what the fuck he was doing. If I had to give this movie an overall grade, it's an incomplete. Because what happens is this movie starts out with shades of Rise of Skywalker, and in the sense of how did the xenomorph form a fucking rock around itself? It's like somehow the xenomorph has returned.
Yeah.
And so in this like spectacle, we see what seems to be a drone ship, but who knows?
This concludes our proposal. Thank you for your attention.